Long ago, in a quiet village called Ebikoro, surrounded by thick forest, singing birds, and wide rivers that shone under the sun, there lived a young woman named Amara. She was the only daughter of Mama Ijeoma and Papa Ijeoma, humble farmers who lived a simple, peaceful life. Amara was not just beautiful, she was the kind of beautiful that made people stop and stare. Her skin was smooth and golden like fresh honey. Her eyes sparkled like morning dew. Her lips were full and red as ripe plum fruit. Her hair was long, black, and soft like silk. Old women would say, the gods must have carved her slowly, with joy in their hearts. But behind that beauty was a heart swollen with pride. Every morning, while others were busy pounding yam or heading to the farm, Amara would sit in front of a small mirror her father had bought from a traveling trader. She would oil her skin until it shone, twist her neck from side to side, pout her lips, and whisper, "Oh, who is finer than Amara?" None. Not in Ebikoro, not anywhere. Her mother would call from the kitchen hot, "Amara, come help me wash the vegetables before your father returns." Amara would roll her eyes. "Wash vegetables? Me? My fingers are too delicate for dirty work." Her mother would sigh deeply. "My daughter, beauty without humility is like soup without salt." But Amara never listened. While other girls fetched water from the stream, Amara stayed home polishing her nails with palm oil and crushed hibiscus petals. When women swept the village square, she sat by her mirror smiling at her reflection. Even her mirror seemed weary of her face. Her friends loved her once, but she mocked them often. One by one, they got married, first Ada, then Ngozi, then Chisholm. They married honest men, hunters, fishermen, and farmers, not princes, but good men who loved them. Amara laughed at them all. "Huh! Look at Ada's husband, his sandals are torn. Ngozi's man sells yam by the roadside. Chisholm's husband smells like smoke from the bush." Her laughter echoed through the village. The girls ignored her mockery, but sometimes they wept in secret. Still, they were happy. And that happiness made Amara jealous. "They can keep their poor love," she'd say, admiring her face in the mirror. "Amara will marry a king, not just any king, a rich and powerful one who will cover her in gold and take her to a palace with white horses." One bright market day, the village was alive with songs, colors, and the smell of roasted maize. Drummers beat their drums under a big mango tree. Women called out prices of okra and pepper. Children ran around chasing each other. Amara wore her finest wrapper, one that sparkled in the sun. Her blouse was shiny and tight, her hair tied neatly with a bright yellow scarf. She rubbed palm oil on her skin until it glowed. Then she walked to the market proudly, her hips swaying like a dancer. People stared as she passed. Some smiled, others shook their heads. "She's beautiful," one woman said. "But her heart is proud," an old man muttered. "She walks like the ground is a servant," another whispered. Amara didn't care. The attention pleased her. But as she turned a corner, she bumped into someone. Her basket fell, spilling beans everywhere. The other person's firewood scattered across the ground. It was Mama Ikin, the oldest woman in Ebikoro. Her back was bent with age, her eyes dim, her hands trembling from years of hard work. "Oh dear," the people gasped, "Mama Ikin has fallen." The old woman knelt, trying to gather her firewood, but her hands shook too much. Amara stood tall, frowning. "Can't you see where you're going, old woman? You've ruined my clothes. Do you even know who I am?" The old woman looked up, voice soft and weak. "My child, forgive me. My eyes no longer see clearly." "Then stay in your hut." Amara snapped. "Don't bring your rotten wood near my beautiful things again." The crowd went silent. "Amara, apologize," someone said. "She's old enough to be your grandmother," another added. But Amara hissed, lifted her chin, and walked away. Mama Ikin gathered her firewood slowly, looked up at the sky, and said in a trembling voice, Amora, the mirror you love so much will betray you. May your beauty melt like wax before the fire. May your pride become your punishment. You shall not find your reflection until your heart learns to love what is ugly. The market went still. Even the wind stopped moving. That night, Amora felt her skin burning as she looked into her mirror. She laughed nervously. What kind of foolish curse is this? But as she spoke, a crack appeared on the mirror surface. The next morning, her scream shook the entire village. Her mother ran in. Amora. What is it? Amora pointed at her reflection. Mama, look at me. What happened to my face? Her once smooth skin was rough like bark. Her lips were cracked. Her eyes looked dull and lifeless. Her hair was thin and falling out. Mama Ijeoma gasped, holding her daughter close. Oh, Amora. This is what pride brings. Amora wept bitterly. Please, let's go to Mama Ikin. I will apologize. But when they got to the old woman's hut, she was gone. No one knew where she had gone or if she was even alive. Amora hid in her hut for weeks. Her mirror was covered with cloth. The villagers gossiped. Have you seen Amora lately? They say her face looks like burnt yam skin. She used to mock everyone. Now look at her. The once proud beauty became quiet and humble. Months passed. One evening, a stranger arrived in Ebikoro. He walked slowly to Amora's house and said, I have a message for Amora. Amora came out. For your curse, he said in a deep voice, will only be lifted when you marry the oldest, ugliest man on earth, a man whose face you cannot bear to look at, whose breath makes the air heavy. But you must marry him not with your body, but with your heart. Only then shall you be free. Before Amora could speak, the man vanished into the night. She fell to her knees and cried. Marry the ugliest man alive. Oh, gods, why me? But she knew there was no other way. Weeks later, there was a loud knock on the door. Mama Ijeoma opened it and almost screamed. A short, round man stood there. His clothes were torn, his belly large, his beard tangled. His teeth were few and brown, and his skin was wrinkled like dried pepper. His smell filled the air, something between rotten fish and smoke. I am Obidi, he said with a crooked grin. I heard Amora needs a husband. Mama Ijeoma staggered backward. Come again. Amora, the man shouted. I have come for you. Amora stepped out slowly. When she saw him, her heart almost stopped. He was uglier than she had imagined. But she remembered the traveler's words, marry him with your soul. Swallowing hard, she whispered, I accept. The villagers gathered in disbelief. Amora, the beauty, marrying this creature. They murmured and shook their heads. The wedding was quiet. No drumming, no dancing, just whispers and shock. Amora wore a faded gown, her pride gone. That night, Obidi snored so loud the hut shook. His breath filled the air like smoke from a dirty fire. Amora couldn't sleep. She sat by the window, staring at the moon. I brought this on myself, she whispered. But I must endure. Days turned into weeks. Obidi was not just ugly, he was rude and demanding. Cook my food now. Scratch my back. Don't breathe so loud. He complained about everything. Yet Amora never shouted back. She cooked his meals, fetched water, washed his torn clothes, and even smiled sometimes. She started greeting people again. She helped old women fetch water and played with children. She apologized to her old friends, who forgave her. One afternoon, she saw a small child trip at the market and ran crying. Amora rushed to help, cleaned the girl's knee, and gave her food. Under a mango tree nearby, an old woman sat quietly watching. It was Mama Ikin. She smiled faintly and whispered, her heart has learned. That night, Amara dreamt of Mama Akin glowing like moonlight. "My daughter," she said softly, "true beauty lives in the heart. You have found it. Tomorrow, your mirror will love you again." When Amara woke at dawn, she ran to the water pot and looked in. What she saw made her fall to her knees. Her skin was smooth again. Her eyes shone bright. Her hair was thick and beautiful. Her beauty had returned, but now it carried grace. She cried and laughed at once, praising the god. When Obidi woke up and saw her, he froze. "Who are you?" "My wife was ugly." Amara smiled kindly. "Thank you, Obidi. You helped me find my heart." She handed him a calabash of food and said, "May you find peace and someone who will care for you." Then she left. Her parents wept with joy when she returned home. Not long after, a young prince from a far kingdom came visiting. He had heard of a woman whose pride turned to humility, whose beauty was reborn from kindness. He met Amara, and his heart melted. He didn't see only her face, he saw her spirit. Their wedding was grand. Drums echoed across the village, dancers twirled, and even the trees seemed to sway in rhythm. But Amara never forgot her journey. She treated everyone with gentleness. She greeted every elder, smiled at children, and even visited Obidi one day, bringing him new clothes. She no longer worshipped her mirror, for now, her true reflection lived in her heart. Moral of the story: pride is a fire that burns the one who carries it. True beauty is not in the face, but in the heart that loves and respects others. No matter how small, old, or poor someone may be, treat them with kindness. For what the eye see fades, but what the heart learns remains forever.